Brad Keselowski is in the hospital. The 2012 Cup Series champion just underwent emergency surgery after a shocking accident left him with a broken leg. And with the 2026 season just weeks away, the entire NASCAR world is asking one question. Will he be ready to race? Or is this the beginning of the end for one of stock car racing's toughest competitors?
Ryan Blaney has won his way into the championship.
A great day for Kyle Larson.
Seventh career win in his 100th.
Joey Logano takes the checkered flag. Hell yeah, boys!
First things first, let's get into what actually happened. Brad was skiing several days ago when things went sideways. He took a fall, broke his leg, and ended up in the hospital. Now, Brad being Brad, he didn't just disappear into silence. He posted photos from the hospital showing the aftermath, and honestly, it looked pretty serious. The man already underwent surgery to repair the damage, and he shared his thoughts with fans in the most Brad Keselowski way possible. Here's what he said. "Life has a way of reminding you to slow down. Grateful for my family by my side, an excellent medical team, and the ability to take a few steps forward today, focused on Daytona. Bonus, I'm now bionic." That last part, "I'm now bionic," that's classic Brad right there. Even in a tough situation, he's finding the bright side and keeping that sense of humour alive. You've got to respect that mindset. RFK Racing, the team that Brad co-owns with Jack Roush, released an official statement to address the injury and calm any concerns from fans and sponsors. The statement said that Keselowski has successfully completed routine surgery and that doctors expect a quick and full recovery. They're optimistic about his return, and the Daytona 500 is roughly 2 months away, so there's time for healing and rehabilitation. But here's where it gets interesting. The Daytona 500 might be 2 months out, but the clash at Bowman Gray Stadium is happening 2 weeks before that. So we're looking at an even tighter timeline if Brad wants to be in the car for every race on the schedule. That's a lot of pressure to heal up fast, get back into racing shape, and be competitive right out of the gate. Now before we panic, let's remember something important about Brad Keselowski. This isn't his first rodeo with a broken bone. Back in 2012, during his championship-winning season, Brad broke his ankle. And what did he do shortly after that? He went out and won a Cup Series race at Pocono. The guy is tough as nails. He proved then that he can race through pain and still perform at an elite level. However, and this is a big however, there's a difference between breaking your ankle at 27 or 28 years old versus breaking your leg at 40 or 41. Father Time is undefeated, folks. Recovery takes longer as you get older. Bones don't heal as quickly. The body needs more time to bounce back. So while Brad's track record suggests he's capable of pushing through this, the reality is that his age could be a factor in how fast he gets back to 100%. Let's talk about skiing for a second, because this is now becoming a concerning trend in NASCAR. Brad is the second Cup Series star in recent years to break his leg in a skiing accident. Remember when Chase Elliott broke his leg skiing right before the start of the 2023 season? That was a disaster. Chase missed multiple races, Josh Berry had to fill in, and it threw Hendrick Motorsports into chaos mode. The difference here is that Brad had the sense, or maybe just the luck, to have this accident early in the off-season rather than right before the first race. The good news, and let's focus on the positive here, is that the medical team seems confident about Brad's recovery. Modern medicine has come a long way, and surgical techniques for broken bones are incredibly advanced. The fact that Brad is already taking steps, literally taking steps forward, is a great sign. It means the surgery went well, the repair is holding, and the healing process has begun. Let's also consider what this means for RFK Racing as an organisation. Brad isn't just a driver, he's a co-owner. He's got responsibilities beyond just showing up on race day. If, for some reason, he can't race at the start of the season, RFK will need to have a backup plan. They'll need a substitute driver ready to go, someone who can step in and keep the team competitive while Brad recovers. The team made significant strides in 2025, and they'll want to carry that momentum into 2026. Having Brad out of the car, even temporarily, would be a setback. Now, while we're on the topic of NASCAR drivers and injuries, let's shift gears and talk about someone who's proving that age is just a number. Jimmie Johnson. The 7-time Cup Series champion is returning for the Daytona 500 for the 4th consecutive season, and he's got a legitimate shot at making history. Jimmie is 50 years old, and he's still out here racing at the highest level of stock car racing. He's a 2-time Daytona 500 champion, winning in 2006 and 2013. Last year he finished 3rd in the Great American Race, which was an incredible performance for a part-time driver in equipment that wasn't necessarily championship caliber. Here's where the history part comes in. Bobby Allison currently holds the record as the oldest Daytona 500 winner in NASCAR history. Bobby won the race in 1988 when he was 50 years old and roughly 2 months. When the 2026 Daytona 500 rolls around, Jimmie Johnson will be 50 years old and roughly 5 months. So if Jimmie can finish 2 spots better than he did last season, if he can win the race, he'll become the oldest Daytona 500 champion ever. That would be legendary, absolutely legendary. Jimmie Johnson is cementing his legacy even further by breaking a record that stood for nearly 40 years. And honestly, it's not outside the realm of possibility. Legacy Motor Club showed great improvement last year. All 3 of their Toyotas finished inside the top 12 at Daytona last February. They're moving in the right direction, and Jimmie has the experience and talent to capitalise if everything falls into place. Jimmie will be racing the Carvana sponsored car, and he'll be running as an open entry, which means he'll need to qualify into the race. There are 4 open spots available, and right now only 2 open cars are confirmed: Jimmie's and Justin Allgaier's Junior Motorsports entry. So as it stands, Jimmie would make the race by default. But there's also NASCAR's Open Exemption Provisional, which was created for world-class drivers and superstars. With 7 Cup championships and a Hall of Fame plaque, Jimmie definitely qualifies. The smart money is on Jimmie Johnson being in the Daytona 500 regardless of what happens in qualifying. And when he's out there on that track, you better believe he's racing to win. Switching gears one more time, let's talk about how NASCAR drivers stacked up against the rest of the motorsports world in 2025. Autosport, the European motorsports outlet, recently ranked the top 50 drivers of the year across all racing series. The list was heavily weighted toward Formula One, which makes sense given that Autosport is based in Europe. Max Verstappen was ranked first, which isn't surprising. George Russell came in second, and Lando Norris, the F1 Series champion, was ranked 6th. That seemed a bit odd, but F1 has its own politics and debates. For NASCAR, Denny Hamlin was the highest ranked driver at number 10. Denny led the series in wins and was in position to win the championship until a late race caution changed everything. Kyle Larson, the actual Cup champion, came in at 15th. William Byron, the regular season champion, was ranked 20th. And Connor Zilisch, the Xfinity Series standout, cracked the list at number 50. The big takeaway here is that NASCAR's parity problem hurts its drivers on the global stage. When you have 5 or 6 drivers who all had championship caliber seasons, none of them stand out as true superstars. They all blend together, and international audiences don't see that dominant, transcendent talent that makes headlines. The 2026 season is right around the corner, and there's so much to be excited about. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and let's see how all of this plays out when the racing finally begins. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, smash that like button right now. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.